Okay, so I've just clicked on the link in the email that was sent to me after creating my free account with Kynetx AppBuilder, and as you can see here, that account has been confirmed, so I can go ahead and log in. I'll go ahead and log in with my username and password. And when AppBuilder first comes up, it shows you all of your applications that you've built. Because this is a new account, I don't have any. So let's go ahead and just take a look here at this interface and get acquainted with it. In the middle of the screen is where my applications will show up. I have a button to create a new application, and I have this help slide out here. This help slide out will give you information about what all the different things on that screen are for, and this help is context sensitive so that it will follow you and give you help at whatever screen you're on. So let's go ahead and walk through creating a new application so that we can look at the rest of the interface. I'm going to go ahead and click New App, and the name of my app is going to be Test Application, and I'll give it a description. This is a test for a demo, and hit Create. When I create a new application, you'll notice that I get a lot more information. Starting at the top here, we see this ID up here. This is a specific ID that is created for all of your applications. All of your applications will start with this A231, and then the number after the X will increment for each application that you build. So the ID identifies you and the application. The next thing to look at here is we have a drop-down menu. We have Manage, Edit, Test, Deploy, and Distribute. And these are still a work in progress, so they'll change quite a bit. But what we want to first do when we're creating an application is give some information. So what we've done is every application in Kynetx has what we call a meta block. And a meta block is just information about that application that makes it a little bit more interesting, helps you know what that application does. It's also helpful when you're sharing the application to give people some information about the application. I'm going to go ahead and put in an author here, and you'll notice the Save button automatically shows up when I've changed that, so I'll go ahead and hit Save. The next thing we'll want to do is decide which sites our application is going to run on. So we'll go ahead and go to the dispatch block, and the dispatch is where we'll tell Kynetx which sites to execute our application on. And the way we do that is by typing domain and then giving it the website. It's important here that we don't put the http://, we just put the site. So we're going to run this on google.com. Again, if we needed help or we couldn't remember that syntax, we can look over in the help and see the correct syntax for writing that. So I'll go ahead and close that help and hit Save to close the dispatch. In the global section is where we can put some global information for application. We won't be using that in this demo. The next thing we need to do is create a rule. A rule is some code that will be executed based on a condition met when a visitor visits our site. In this case, it's google.com. So we're going to create a new rule, and we won't go into the details of everything that's going on here. We'll just give our new rule a name, and we'll call this Hello World, and we want it to select on every site. This is a regular expression here, so we'll just put dot or dot star. And for right now, we don't want it to do anything. If we don't want it to do anything, we'll leave it at no op. But let's do something a little bit more exciting. We'll use notify. And notify takes two arguments. The first one is heading for the notification, and the second one is the actual message. And we'll go ahead and put a message in here of this is a Hello World app from Kynetx. And we'll go ahead and set that rule to active and hit Save. and there's our application, our rule inside of the test application. So if we want to test that, we have two options. We can either test it with a bookmarklet or we can test it with an info card. The easiest way I've found is to use a bookmarklet. So I'll go ahead here, and we can use a bookmarklet. We can just drag that up, or in this case I'm just going to copy this code here, and then I'll just paste that in the address bar. Let's go ahead and test this, see if it worked. And it does. Now you notice it just ran on any page. The bookmarklet will run on any page and doesn't regard the dispatch block. But we can see here that our rule did run and gave us this nice little notification that we can close. When we're ready to deploy our application, we come down here to deploy, and it will show us every version of our application. When we distribute our card or our application, whichever version we decide to deploy here will be the one that actually shows up. So if we want to deploy this as is right now, we just choose the deploy on version 2, and that will put that one in production, make it so it works through our card. There are several ways of distributing our application. We can do it through an information card, through a booklet, through a browser extension. Right now we support Firefox or Internet Explorer browser extensions, site tags, and then we have an app directory where you can publish your application to a directory and give people access to download that from the app directory. So that's just a brief tour of the Kynetx AppBuilder, and also a small introduction to KRL and building your first application.